and I want to role play this. So you had people. Now, how many people did you have committed to going to family reunion?
So at the moment, I'm sitting on 43 guests.
Wow, great job.
And out of my own agents, because look, you get allocated amount of seats. So I was allocated 67, and out of my own 50 agents, 24 is going at the moment. And I know through the month, someone's going to wake up. So obviously, I'm going to get extra tickets. At the end of the day, is the guest that was sort of confirmed. Out of the 13 I've spoken to in the past 2 days, I've had sort of a 70% rejection. 8 of them is like, just like Rolo, to be online for 3 afternoons and to listen to this. So now I'm trying to entice them. Let's discuss which sessions would be to your benefit. And now I get this resistance of, I really don't want to spend more time on this discussion. And it's sort of demoralizing a little bit. It's not demoralizing. It's almost like, what?
Well, and this is very common because with the holidays, it's almost like you have to back up and move things forward. Because during that period of time, they've done a lot of thinking. They've done a lot of talking. They've heard a lot. So they might kind of be shopping with something else that they're considering as well. They probably talked to another agent and another broker and said, if you're looking at this, you should at least look at this too. So all those things happen with time. And that's why time is never on our side when we're recruiting and closing, right? So regardless if it was the holidays or they went on a vacation or they kind of slowed down on you, I would always assume that they're going to shop and look at more things. Second to that is the challenge of family reunion, is it's a long, long day. And that is the biggest objection to overcome. So I'm going to role play this back at you of how I revisit those conversations. Now, number one, I'm going to call you and wish you a happy new year and say, hey, new year, new you. Are you still interested in working on X for your business? Whatever you talked about, hiring that assistant, getting onto social media, getting more listing focused, whatever it is, or working less, whatever they said, okay, that you said you would help them with. Say, great. And it's time to revisit how I can help you do that in the new year. And you want to bring them back to their pain and have them verbalize it to you so that you can get the conversation going again. If you go in and start pitching on what you're going to do to help them and how let's get started, you kind of are getting into selling and telling versus helping and educating, which is influencing, right? Selling, telling, and presenting is going to push them away, and it's going to push them away from being closed. Whereas if you back up and drag them through their pain again and say, is this still true? Great, because I can help you. Let's get started. And it kind of triggers that New Year's Eve resolution kind of garbage. Like, are you serious about getting better with your business this year? Great. I'm so excited to get started. Let's talk about that transition. So I'm just reminding you of that. You might be doing that, but I want to make you aware of that, because if we don't back up all the way to their pain and have them kind of re-articulate that with or relive that with us, they're going to be here. Yeah. So with that being said, is that where you're at with people, or is there more to it?
Yeah, I know there's nothing like a stupid question, but most of South Africa, because of the schools, is only back in circulation next week. Our family reunion is literally 2 weeks later. Now, I've sort of phoned and they haven't answered, and then I've sent a little lacquer WhatsApp.
How are you? Too pesty? Are you being too pesty too early for them?
Could it be that, Jessica? But then I'm almost like, if I'm having this sort of resistance, it's like I want to ask you.
I think that's what you're doing. Your urgency doesn't trump their situation, does it?
Okay.
If you're still on holiday, and that's the thing is, if they're still on holiday, they want to be on holiday. It's just like you and I just started our call saying how awesome it was that we got to entertain and we got to be with family. They want to stay in that moment still. They're not ready to get into business. So if you get into business and blabbing about this digital conference of 3 days, they're probably like, oh God, I don't even want to think about that right now. And that might turn them off. So I'm going to challenge you to think about that, because if it's tradition in your country not to really get full on until January 10th because of school and all these other things, you deciding January 3rd you're going full on is going to maybe irritate people. Just food for thought.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit ahead of the curve. I am ready to bring it all to them and let's get the stuff out of the way. I think I'm a little bit weak too early. And I think that's why I'm experiencing the resistance, because they probably see my phone call or my phone and then they go, oh God, are we starting this whole Keller Williams conversation this early
I'm not
in
ready.
the
I
year
don't want to deal
already?
with it right now. I don't want to deal with it right now. I want to be in this moment, because I got to tell you, I go all in. I work hard. I go for it, but I love my holidays. And this baby got shut down. I turned off my notifications. I didn't want to get bothered because nothing deserved my time more than the people I was with. So you might be experiencing that. And yet I just want to remind you, even if it's March or April and someone goes on their own holiday, or they take a little break for whatever reason, or they're out sick, you still have to take them all the way back to pain to bring them back in to close. And one of the things I love to do is I want to revisit what kind of extreme makeover I'm going to give them and their business. And I get them excited about that, so they're not dreading a change. They're seen as a positive makeover. And I say, so Rolo, I know we talked probably 20 times now, and some of the things you brought up to me are X, Y, and Z. Are those things still true? You know, and I'd revisit like whatever they shared and say, is there anything more? And let me ask you this, is this still important to you? You know, I know we talked about what kind of results we can get and what kind of impact I can help you have, which we're in the field of X amount of dollars. You know, you kind of rehash what they said. So let me ask you this. When you choose to make the move, whenever the time is right for you, what is the most important things I help you implement first? And I would have them close themselves and say, so what's stopping you from getting started? What's keeping you up at night? What worries you? What would slow us down? And what else? Anything else? Great, I can solve all those problems. What if X, Y, Z? Why don't we get started? Then let's start January 17th. If January 17th is the date, let's do that. Let's put it on the calendar now though. You know, and so really you back up, and then I like to turn it on them and say, tell me again why you're coming to Keller Williams. And then they'll tell you like, well, you said you'd help me get in the system. Like, got it. Is that the first thing you want to accomplish? Great. So I know you don't want to come, you're not moving your license till January 17th, you know. However, why don't we get together in the next week and hash out what you're looking for in case I have candidates I already have, you know, and you can get some things going in advance, right? From D-Day, the day that you make the change. And yet those are all conversations. And they start with questions, not this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Let's get started. Right.
Got it. No, thank you. Jess, I want to ask you another question. So in having now, so I started phoning all my cappers. How are you, you know, touching base, getting them going. What is your business happening? It's maybe it's a common thing for maybe this time of the year, but it's also, look, some of them are also still coming back on holiday, but I do have relationships with these kind of people. And what I find is that they are not aware of their goals and the conversations we had last year to wrap it up so that we know exactly, you know, the idea was when we wrapped it up end of last year is that they can just sort of open the box and everything will just be in place. It's like 80% of them are coming back to shambles. Does that make sense?
Oh gosh, yeah, it's every year. Are you kidding me?
Oh.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And yet, one of the ways I fixed that in my world is I took and I can give you this book, but you know, there's the 4 models that show you the economic, where you can do the workbook. It's like a worksheet, right? You can fill out, you can do your economic model. You could circle what kind of lead generation you want to be focused on and kind of evaluate how your database is doing in terms of, are you getting a 6% return? And then it's kind of looking at your budget. Where are you at? Are you even close to what they suggest? You know, where are areas where you're really off that we can maybe tweak a little and make you more profit? And then do you need anybody with the org? So it's elbow, economic is E, L is lead gen, budget, and org. Those are the 4 models of MREA. So if there's a workbook I have, if you don't have it, that has every one of those like worksheets, I put it in one book. It was like 6 pages total. And the first page was big why. I'm like, let's get clear again, guys. New year, new mindset. And I'd have their numbers filled in with just GCI and the 40%. I circled what they should have had. And then whatever column they were in for the budget model, I circled that column. I'm like, this is what it should look like.
It's like they very resist it. It's like that the sheet is there, the numbers is there. We've done all of this, Jessica. Now I'm phoning and saying, listen, can we now please have our standard one-on-ones? Let's discuss your business. Let's just get the momentum and the production going. Now I have the sheet open in front of me and I'm having this conversation with him. Well, it's like their minds are doff. There's nothing in it. It's like the sheet, the workbook does not exist. And it's like,
is it their big why but what's driving them is, you know, here's the thing is, they're entrepreneurial spirits. They're just entrepreneurial. Very few are business-like. So, you know, they're not going to be motivated by your business acumen if they're not interested in business, but they're interested in their lifestyle and their big why.
But isn't that a little bit blackmail? Because I tried that ticket and I went, listen, I understand this is the goal or whatever. It's like people's goals and things change. Their whys are changing over December. Yeah. And yet, surely if you know about your why that's going to change, surely you're going to be aware of all the other steps in the process that's going to be affected as well. Now that they have experienced change and I want to make myself available for them to discuss this so that they can feel comfortable being in control of a plan. It's almost like they resist me. It's like the training conversation. Why?
Well, you know what I mean is you're bringing them into discipline. You're bringing them into discipline. And entrepreneurial people avoid discipline in many ways. And that's why we have that E to P model, right? Where we show like the average entrepreneur looks like a train wreck. And then if you just get some discipline and some systems and you're like, look at what it can look like. Many of them avoid moving over. It's like going and working out at the gym or, you know, so, you know, going from here to here isn't going to happen, but going from here to here will, if you go after what they're passionate about or what they need or what they want, and not trying to put them in the box because they don't want to be in the box. They want to be over here, kind of half. My husband's a great example. He's married to a coach. We have a lot of opportunity in front of us and he's out fishing right now. That guy fishes more than he works. And you know what? He's going to stay fishing. I can't coach my husband. He does not want to get in the box. He wants to be over here because that's the perfect lifestyle for him. So just be aware of that because it's like we can't push them where we want them to go. We can show them what's possible and bring them to where they're willing.
Can you repeat that again, please? That's beautiful words.
We can't push them to where we want them to go. We can just show them what it looks like and bring them to where they're willing to go. So a great example is lead gen. If someone is not going to pick up their phone and call their database, they're not going to do it. So yelling at them louder or mention it more times just turns them off more. So when I have someone like that, because there's a lot of agents that are phone reluctant to even their own friends, I say, let me ask you this. Would you be willing to help your friends? And they're like, of course. And I said, so like in Florida, we have a lot of storms. I said, what if after every storm, you just called your database to make sure they're okay and their house is okay? And they're like, well, I'll do that. I said, well, do do you like to wish people happy birthday? And they're like, well, yeah, I already, I'm like, that's your call. Your call doesn't have to be to convince them to go buy a house with you. It just has to be a call that they know that you care about them. It's a care call. Now, that's how you coach someone that won't call their database into loving calling their database. Like having parties, great. Why don't you invite your friends to your parties? Don't make it about pitching them a house. Make it about pitching your event and getting together and connecting. You know, so it's all about mindset. And so just remember, you're trying to get them to want to go cold call, and yet they just maybe need to be told to invite their friends to a party. Incremental
I'm
improvement.
sometimes too hard. I think I'm a little bit hard because I always want more for themselves. And I think I actually know them better than what they sometimes know themselves.
Oh yeah, you know
because
it's better for them.
Everything for them. I am the 24 December phone call. I need money. I'm this, I'm a that, I'm a what. You know what I mean is. And
well, you're perfect. Consider yourself perfect to model. And let's just say I'm one of these agents and I'm only 15% on model, but if you could get me to 20 this year, I'm going to want to go to 30 next year. But you're probably not going to get me from 20 to 75. You're probably going to lose me. So if you let people live in their zone, in their lifestyle, and in their sweet spot, but you show them how you can have incremental improvements. The book Atomic Habits talks about the 1% improvement, just a 1% improvement. That's all you're looking for consistently versus, and I think what you're pitching is like 75 and it makes them look like, God, I'm gonna have to do everything different. And I'm happy right now. This is where I like this, you know, so just be aware of that.
You know, every call I have with you, you always touch on that sensitive point, you know, that thing you don't want to hear, but you are aware of it. And you're sort of trying to adjust it, but you realize, shit, somewhere this is going to snowball. You have to change. And I think I was too geared to start the year, and I started overkill a little bit too
well,
early.
Just put the E to P picture in front of you and draw a line in the middle. Don't try to get them to perfect. Get them to 1% better.
Yeah, my husband keeps saying to make me remember your expectations of people are sometimes unrealistic. So just take a step back. So yeah, that's what it sort of boils down to. And
start with them, not you needing to get your pipeline going again and closing people in your calendar full. Start with them and say, you know, happy holidays. How is everyone? How are you? Slow down, get back to relationship, and then remind them of the pain points and then close.
Do you still remind all your top 20 of recruits and please refer? Do you ask as a team leader when you speak to them or you have that training session, do you always ask for it, or do you just go from the point that it's natural that you should buy into what we offer you?
No. You don't want that. Don't take that approach. That's dangerous, because if you have them out blabbing for you, they're ruining it. You don't want them to say too much, right? You want them to say one or two things that they love about KW and say, you know what though? There's thousands of elements of Keller Williams that benefit agents. It depends on what matters to you. So do me a favor and take Rolo's call. I'll have him have a confidential, quick conversation with you. And zip it. And then they need to call you and say, hey, I just talked to Joe at Remax and he was curious, you know, give him a call. That's what the ideal referral looks like, right? Okay. Now, if I'm this agent, I'm talking to Joe, I'm like, oh, Rolo's got us doing all these business plans and we've got all this. And I don't want that. That's going to turn me off. I don't want, you don't want that agent sharing every little detail, because they don't think they need to speak to you, because if they, oh, this is a cap, this is what we pay. They don't have any reason to talk to you. You've almost eliminated your chance. So the strategy that I take is to ask them if they're interested in wealth. And the 30% that are will participate and the 70% won't. So just accept that. Don't be upset if people don't all play along. And you say, okay, well, let's get purposeful about this. We're going to build your top 20. And your top 20 are the top 20 relationships you have in real estate. I don't care if they sold 5 houses or 50 houses. They're your friends in real estate that aren't Keller Williams. I want you to build that list out. And what we're going to do is every time we have a recruitable event or something of value to give, you're going to give it first. And that way, if they join Keller Williams, because I'm already calling them, I'm already inviting, I'm already doing all of my work, they're most likely to name you as their sponsor. And as I get more and more conversation going with them, if it seems to be going somewhere, I'm going to tag you in so that, again, you're top of mind to be the person they put on the paper. And then they can ask you the questions that they're maybe not telling me, and you can kind of tell me what I need to work on to help them get moved. And if they're not a match, we can just make a friend. So that's how that process will go. But you're going to start by building your top 20. And I want you that list today. Who are those people? And then what I do is I go into command and tag Rolo to those agents so that when we are interacting, we're name dropping you, or we're saying, hey, Rolo, let's get this agent to Digital Family Reunion, or let's, how about this? I'll send you this text. You send that to them today. And then tomorrow we're going to call and invite them. Okay. And when you tag team it, but you get them in the mindset of tag teaming, not talking, right? I actually have it on my covenant agreement with my ALC that they promise not to try to recruit.
Okay.
So get purposeful. When you look at the different strategies you have, one of the things I'm working on getting out, Sheila's out with flu or something. So we're probably going to be getting this out Monday, I'm guessing. But I have kind of an individual strategy for all these lead sources that is very specific, like the top 20 with your ALC, like the top 20 with a new hire that comes in. And instead of focusing on the brokerage I came from, ask them who they know in the whole MLS or in the whole market, because they may not want to recruit from their old office because they may want to keep good relations with their old broker. And you get them to give a top 20. Many times it's going to be other agents that aren't even in their office, because that's just, they want to feel like they're leaving things on a high note. So again, that's another specific strategy. So instead of hoping and nudging, like, who do you know, build a plan with those that say, yes, I am really actually interested.
Okay.
And that way, when you talk to them, it's part of your agenda. If it's coaching, that there's someone that you actually coach, you talk about their business, and then part of their business is their wealth. And you say, okay, let's talk about what we've got on the calendar for our top 20 that you might want to invite to. And, could you do, why don't you call all those top 20 about your new listing, the new luxury listing that you have, and kind of feel things out for me. And if you hear anything, give me a call. If you talk to anyone you think they're ready to talk to me, or any intel, share it with me. And again, it's teaching them to tag team with you, but not do the talking.
Got it. Sure.
I'll send you the top 20 plan. I even wrote down like the scripts that I hand wrote it. So forgive me, but I'll have Sheila send that too.
No. I can follow easily. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So you're doing all the right things, and you're so natural at this, but I think your urgency is in front of your pipeline.
I've got a big why, Jessica. I've got things to happen, and that's purely what's happening. I'm just frustrated with time.
Well, and what you can do with this time is call everyone that kind of faded off your pipeline and start those conversations again.
Okay.
Get new conversations going while you're loving on your pipeline, but not freaking them out. Sound good?
Oh, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to say, Jess Fox has said to me, don't freak your pipeline out.
Don't freak them out. Don't freak them out. You're all on holiday. Well, and the thing is I love your urgency and I love what you do. And yet let's take that energy and put it in a positive way so that you're not getting more anxious and more like energized. Let's take that energy and put it in a positive way in maybe getting new pipeline.
Awesome. I can do
cool.
that.
Well, I'm really excited for this year. And if there's anything I can do to course correct or redirect with you, if you like any feedback, you can give me what you like, what you wish I was doing more. I think we hit the points we need to, and yet I'm open to feedback because I'm still learning as a coach. So I want to become better and better. So let me know if there's something more I could be doing for you. Okay.
Appreciate it. We'll do. Everything's
Okay.
perfect. Thanks, Jess. Have a good
See ya.
day. Chat
Bye-bye.